The boot came down hard on her trembling hand, the one with the snake coiled around her wrist, and Private Emma Mitchell didn't scream. She didn't beg. She just looked up at Drill Sergeant Rodriguez through the Georgia dust and whispered 5 words that would crack Fort Benning wide open. You're standing on a ghost. Before you find out what happens next, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from and buckle up, because this story is about to get real. Emma's hand wouldn't stop shaking. 05:27 hours. Barracks lights still off. She sat on her bunk, lacing boots with her left hand because her right wouldn't cooperate, wouldn't obey, wouldn't stop the tremor that started 3 years ago in a place that didn't exist on any map. You okay? Sarah Chen whispered from the bunk above. Fine. Your hand? I said fine. Sarah went quiet. Smart girl. Emma yanked her sleeve down hard enough to hurt and stood. Around her 63 recruits moved like machines, fast scared, trying not to be noticed. Emma understood. Being noticed got you killed. The formation bell rang. She walked outside and the heat slapped her face. Someone behind her laughed. Jesus, Mitchell looks like she's gonna puke. Week 3 and she's already breaking. Emma kept her eyes forward. Her right hand shook inside her pocket. Formation! Rodriguez's voice could crack concrete. He paced in front of them, clipboard in hand, looking for weakness. 5-mile run, obstacle course. Then I separate the warriors from the tourists who wasted Uncle Sam's money. Emma's hand trembled harder. She clenched her jaw. Mitchell. Every head turned. Yes, Drill Sergeant. Rodriguez stepped closer. Why are you shaking, Private? I'm not Drill Sergeant. Don't lie to me, your hand is doing the Harlem Shake. Laughter exploded through the formation. Phones came out, 358 screens pointed at her face. Emma's left hand clenched. May I request medical evaluation, Drill Sergeant? The laughter got louder. Medical. Rodriguez's face went red. Week 3 and you want medical. What's next? Gonna call your mommy. No, Drill Sergeant. Then drop 50 push-ups right now. Emma hit the ground. Her right hand shook so bad it looked like it might fly off. She positioned herself, left arm ready, right arm useless. Oh, this is gonna be good, someone muttered. Film it, film it. She's gonna face plant, Emma started. Left arm only, smooth, controlled, down and up like a machine. The laughter stopped. 2, 3, 4. Her right arm hung there shaking, but her left arm was a piston. Holy shit. How is she? 10, 15. Rodriguez's eyes narrowed. 20. Lance Morrison stepped forward. Drill Sergeant, she's faking it. Emma kept going. 25. Permission to speak. Drill Sergeant. Morrison's voice got louder. She's faking the shaking to get sympathy. 30. Look at her. She runs perfect. She does one-armed push-ups, but her hand shakes. That's an act. Emma hit 40 and stopped. Stood. Her right hand still trembled. Rodriguez stepped close. That true, Mitchell? You faking this? No, Drill Sergeant. Then prove it. Obstacle course. Right now. You beat Morrison's time, he shuts his mouth. You lose, you're out of my army by sunset. Morrison grinned. Easy. Emma looked at the course, 30 stations of pain. Yes, Drill Sergeant. They lined up. Rodriguez raised his whistle. 3, 2, 1. Emma exploded forward. The first wall came fast. Morrison hit it like a truck, straight up brute force. Emma went different, left hand, high feet, finding holds nobody else saw, body flowing up and over. She hit the ground first. What the? Morrison's face went red. The cargo net. Morrison grabbed and hauled, muscles bulging. Emma found the edges moved diagonal, right hand useless, but left hand doing everything. Still first. She's beating him. How is she that fast? The rope swing. Morrison jumped and grabbed. Emma timed it different, smaller arc, more precision. Her boots hit dry ground while he was still swinging. No way. That's impossible. The monkey bars. This should have ended her. You needed both hands. Morrison seized the bars, swinging fast. Emma jumped. Her left hand caught the first bar. Her body swung forward, calculated, controlled. Her right hand slapped the second bar, trembling, barely holding, but holding. She swung like that, left, right, barely, left, right, barely. Morrison was faster, but Emma never fell. The crawl under barbed wire. Morrison bulldozed through mud. Emma went flat, perfectly flat body, remembering how to move through spaces too small for humans, how to breathe when the world pressed down. She emerged first. Rodriguez's whistle was in his mouth, but he didn't blow it. He just stared. Final rope climb. 40 feet straight up. Morrison grabbed and hauled. Strong. Fast. Emma gripped with her left, wrapped her legs in a pattern that took the weight off her arms and ascended. Smooth. Controlled. The trembling hand guided but never carried. She hit the top. Morrison was 10 feet below. Total silence from the watching crowd. Emma slid down and stood at attention. Faster than Morrison drill sergeant. Rodriguez stared at her trembling hand, at her steady breathing, at the edge of her sleeve where something dark showed against skin. What are you? Just a recruit drill sergeant. Bullshit. That wasn't recruit movement. That was operator movement. Emma said nothing. Morrison stumbled up, face purple. She cheated. Shut it, Morrison. But drill sergeant, I said shut it. Rodriguez stepped closer to Emma. Mitchell, pull up that sleeve. Emma's left hand moved toward her right sleeve. Don't. Everyone turned. Captain James Morrison stood 20 feet away. Lance Morrison's uncle, the man with connections. He walked forward, slow eyes locked on Emma's covered arm. Drill Sergeant Rodriguez, I'll handle this recruit. Rodriguez stiffened. Sir, this is my platoon, and I'm giving you a direct order. Dismiss the formation, now. Sir. Now, Sergeant. The recruits scattered but not far, just far enough to pretend they weren't listening while phones kept recording. Captain Morrison stopped 3 feet from Emma. What's under that sleeve, Private? An old tattoo, sir. What kind? Personal, sir. Don't lie to me. His voice dropped to a whisper that somehow carried more threat than screaming. I've been in this army 23 years. I've seen marks that mean things. So I'm asking one more time, what's under that sleeve? Emma's jaw set. It's not relevant to my service, sir. Let me be the judge. Lance Morrison, too angry, too humiliated, lunged and grabbed Emma's wrist. Emma moved. Her left hand broke his grip with a technique that came from somewhere dark and classified. Lance's momentum carried him forward into a position where Emma's knee could have ended him, but didn't. Her sleeve tore, the tattoo showed. 7 black coils wrapped around her wrist and forearm. Serpent head open, fangs sunk into a skull. Inside each coil, a number, 731. Captain Morrison went white. Not pale, white, like he'd seen a ghost. Rodriguez squinted. What is that? Some kind of... Everyone back to barracks. Morrison's voice cracked. Rodriguez with me, Mitchell, don't move. The formation exploded into chaos. Emma stood alone in the heat. Right hand shaking, left hand steady. Tattoo exposed to sunlight for the first time in 3 years. She closed her eyes, breathed. Remembered the day they'd put it on her, the needle, the pain, the promise that she'd never be alone because she'd always carry her brothers and sisters on her skin. All 73 of them, all dead now, except her. Mitchell. She opened her eyes. Captain Morrison stood in front of her. His hands were shaking worse than hers. Who are you? Private Emma Mitchell, sir. Don't give me that cover story bullshit. His voice cracked. Unit 731. Jesus Christ, you're one of them. Was, sir. There's no was with that unit. You're either dead or you're... He stopped. Understanding hit him like a truck. You're here hunting someone. Emma met his eyes. Can't confirm, sir. Can't or won't. Both. Rodriguez jogged up, breathing hard. Sir, what the hell is Unit 731? Morrison ignored him. Mitchell, if you're running an operation on my base, I need to know. I need to coordinate. I need... Sir, Emma's voice cut through his panic. You need to do nothing. You've never seen this tattoo. You've never had this conversation. And in about 3 minutes, you're getting a phone call that explains everything. From who? Someone with more stars than you, sir. Morrison's face flushed. You threatening me? No, sir. Just telling you how this works. This is my base. And it was compromised 3 months ago. That's why I'm here. The words hung in the air. Rodriguez found his voice. Compromised. What does a black SUV pulled up? Government plates, windows too dark to see through. It stopped next to them and sat idling. No one got out. Emma's mouth twitched. That's your phone call, sir, right on time. The driver's window rolled down. A man with gray hair and eyes like winter looked at Captain Morrison. Captain? Get in. Morrison's face drained. Sir, I don't... Now. Morrison walked to the SUV like a man walking to his execution. The door opened. He climbed in. The door shut. Rodriguez stepped beside Emma. You gonna tell me what's happening? No drill sergeant. That's not good enough. It'll have to be. Emma watched the SUV. Through the dark window, she could see shapes Morrison, the gray-haired man, others. The conversation looked violent. I got 63 recruits who just watched you do impossible shit, Rodriguez said. I got phones full of video. I got questions. And you're giving me nothing. Emma looked at him. Really looked. Drill sergeant, in 3 minutes. Captain Morrison is going to exit that vehicle and order you to confiscate every phone. Then he's going to tell you I'm being transferred for medical reasons. Then he's going to strongly suggest you forget this morning happened. And if I don't, then the people in that vehicle will make you forget. Rodriguez's jaw clenched. Is that a threat? It's a promise. The SUV door opened. Morrison stepped out. He'd aged 10 years in 5 minutes. His hands were fists, knuckles white. He walked straight to Rodriguez. Collect all electronics from today's formation. Tell them it's a security inspection. Anyone refuses, arrest them. Rodriguez's eyes went wide. Sir, on what? That's a direct order. Yes, sir. Rodriguez jogged toward the barracks. Morrison turned to Emma. His composure was back, but his eyes betrayed everything they held. The look of a man who'd just learned monsters were real. They want to talk to you. I know. They told me who you are, what you've done. His voice dropped. They told me my nephew is in danger, that he's been marked, that if you hadn't stopped him this morning, someone else would have stopped him permanently. Emma's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind her eyes. Your nephew talks too much, sir, posts too much online, brags about things he shouldn't know. And you're here to protect him? I'm here to protect all of them, even the ones who think I'm weak. Morrison stared. How many missions have you run? Enough, sir. How many people have you? He couldn't finish. Emma's voice went flat. Enough to fill a cemetery, not enough to fill the one I'm trying to prevent. The horn beeped twice. They're waiting, Morrison said. Emma walked to the SUV. The door opened before she reached it. She climbed in. Gray-haired man on her left. Woman in her 40s with Pentagon credentials on her right. The driver wore civilian clothes that cost more than Emma made in a year. Door closed. Emma, the gray-haired man's voice carried 12 years of history. You blew your cover. The sleeve tore. Accident. Nothing about you is accidental. That's what makes you expensive. He gestured to the woman. Director Hall. Pentagon Security. Hall didn't smile. You've been undercover 3 weeks. Yes, ma'am. You've identified the leak. 90%. Who? Emma's hand trembled. Maintenance Sergeant Calvin Davis. 7 years on base. Access to schedules. Family in Moldova with unexplained income. The gray-haired man, Colonel Matthews, leaned forward. Proof. Patterns. Communications. Financial forensics. I need 1 more week, too. You don't have 1 week. Hall pulled out a tablet. Istanbul operation was compromised 4 days ago. 7 operators dead. Intel came from Fort Benning. Emma's trembling hand clenched into a fist. I need time to... Davis leaves base tonight. 1800 hours. If he runs, we lose the whole network. Then arrest him. On what charge? Hall shook her head. We need him to contact his handler. We need the network exposed. Emma studied the tablet. You want me to follow him? We want you to catch him in the act. And if he spots me, Matthews smiled, cold, thin, without warmth. Then you do what Unit 731 does best. Emma looked at the two of them, the architect of Black Ops and the Pentagon fixer, the people who made ghosts like her possible. Rules of engagement. Stay alive, get proof, everything else is your call. Matthews handed her a phone. Support assets positioned. Davis doesn't know you exist. Emma took the phone. One more thing. Hall's voice stopped her. The recruits who saw your tattoo, they're going to talk. They won't remember. How can you be sure? Because by tomorrow morning, they'll have bigger problems than one weird tattoo. Emma opened the door. Rodriguez was outside holding a bag of confiscated phones. Behind him, the platoon stood in formation, confused, angry, scared. Emma stepped out. Lance Morrison was at the front. When he saw her, his expression shifted from anger to something closer to fear. Private Mitchell, Rodriguez barked. You're being transferred for medical evaluation, effective immediately. Emma snapped to attention. Yes, Drill Sergeant. Your gear will be forwarded. Yes, Drill Sergeant. She should have walked away. Clean break. No looking back. Instead, she turned to face the platoon. 63 faces stared back. Before I go, her voice carried across the silent formation. Remember something. The person next to you. You don't know their story. You don't know what they survived. You don't know what they're carrying. So before you mock someone, before you film someone, before you decide someone is weak, remember that the strongest people are usually the ones still standing after everyone else fell. Silence. Sarah Chen's voice cut through. Where are you going? Emma's mouth twitched. Medical evaluation. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. She turned and walked toward the parking lot. A sedan waited. Keys in ignition, weapons bag in trunk. Behind her, Rodriguez dismissed the formation. Behind her, recruits scattered and whispered and tried to make sense of what they'd seen. Behind her, Lance Morrison asked his uncle, what just happened? And Captain Morrison's response was quiet shaken. Son, you just learned that monsters are real, and some of them wear our uniform. Emma got in the car. Her right hand trembled on the steering wheel. Her left hand was steady as stone when she started the engine. She pulled out her phone, checked the tracker app. Davis's location glowed red on the screen. Maintenance building right on schedule. 1800 hours was 5 hours and 42 minutes away. She looked at her trembling hand, bit her lip hard enough to taste blood. The pain helped. Always did. 5 hours, Calvin, she whispered to the empty car. 5 hours and then I show you what a ghost looks like up close. She put the car in drive. The trembling never stopped. But neither did she. The sedan's AC couldn't touch the heat building inside Emma's chest. She drove past the base gates, past the checkpoint where the guard waved her through without checking ID because the sedan had the right plates, the right stickers, the right invisible markers that said, "Don't ask questions." Her phone buzzed. Matthews. Text only. Asset package at storage unit 447. Code 731. You have 4 hours. Emma typed back with her left hand. Confirmed. The storage facility was 15 minutes off base, one of those places with orange doors and security cameras that never quite worked right. She pulled up to Unit 447, punched in the code, and the door rolled up with a metallic screech. Inside tactical gear, 3 handguns, 1 rifle comms, equipment, cash, 4 fake IDs, and a laptop hardwired to a satellite uplink that didn't exist on any FCC registry. She grabbed the Glock 19, checked the mag chambered around. Her right hand shook through the whole process, but muscle memory didn't care about tremors. She'd done this motion 10,000 times in places where hesitation meant death. The laptop booted. She pulled up Davis's file, 7 years at Fort Benning maintenance supervisor, exemplary record, 2 commendations, married with 3 kids. The American dream wrapped around a traitor's heart. His phone records showed patterns. Calls to his sister in Moldova every Sunday. Normal. Expected. Except the call durations matched up with classified training schedules down to the minute. Someone had taught him how to hide intel in plain sight. Smart. Not smart enough. Emma's phone buzzed again. Different number. She answered. You get the package. Matthews didn't bother with greetings. Yeah. Davis leaves at 1800. He'll drive to a strip mall on Route 27. There's a coffee shop. He'll go inside order sit for exactly 12 minutes, then leave. That's the handoff window. Who's the handler? We don't know. That's what you're there to find out. Emma's jaw clenched. You're sending me in blind? I'm sending you in because you're the best we have at making blind work. Matthews paused. 7 operators died in Istanbul, Emma. 7 of ours. Because someone at Benning sold them out. I need you to get proof that ends this. And if Davis spots me, he won't. But if he does... Silence stretched between them. Then Matthews said the quiet part out loud. Then make sure he can't tell anyone what he saw. The line went dead. Emma sat in the storage unit staring at the Glock in her trembling hand. 7 operators. 7 families getting folded flags and empty promises. 7 funerals where people would say, training accident, and everyone would know it was a lie. She thought about Unit 731, about the 73 people who'd worn the same tattoo, about how many of them died because someone sold them out just like Davis was doing now. Her hand trembled harder. She bit her lip until blood came. The pain centered her, gave her something real to focus on. Focus, she whispered to the empty unit. 4 hours. You've done worse with less. She loaded the gear into the sedan's trunk, locked the unit, and drove. Route 27 was 20 minutes away. She needed to scout the location map, the exits identify, choke points, plan for when things went wrong, because things always went wrong. The strip mall was typical American sprawl coffee shop, nail salon, dollar store vape shop, tax preparation office that was definitely a front for something. Parking lot half full. Security cameras on 3 corners, but the 4th had a blind spot near the dumpsters. Emma parked in the blind spot and waited. Her phone showed Davis's location still at the maintenance building. Not moving. She pulled up the satellite feed Matthews had given her access to, grainy black and white, but good enough to see Davis's truck in the parking lot. 1,400 hours. 4 hours to go. Emma closed her eyes, tried to slow her breathing. Her hand wouldn't stop shaking, so she gave up trying to control it and just let it shake. The trick was accepting that broken things could still function. A car with a busted shock absorber still drove. A gun with a scratched sight still fired. A soldier with a trembling hand could still pull a trigger when it mattered. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her thumb hit the green button. Emma Mitchell. The voice was young, female, scared. This is Private Sarah Chen. Emma's eyes snapped open. How did you get this number? I memorized it from your file before they took our phones. Sarah's voice dropped to a whisper. They're lying to us. Rodriguez told us you got transferred for medical, but Captain Morrison is acting weird. Lance Morrison is freaking out, and everyone's talking about your tattoo. Forget about the tattoo. What does 731 mean? It means nothing that concerns you. Bullshit. Sarah's voice cracked. You saved Lance from himself this morning. You could have hurt him, but you didn't. And now you're gone, and everyone's scared and confused, and I just... She took a breath. I just want to know if you're okay. Emma's throat tightened. Nobody had asked her that in 3 years. I'm fine. You're not. I saw your hand. I saw your face when they made you do those push-ups. You're not fine. Sarah, whatever you're doing, be careful, please. The line went dead. Emma stared at the phone, felt something crack in her chest that she'd thought was already broken beyond repair. She shook her head hard, pushed the feeling down, locked it away. Emotions were useful for reading people, but lethal when they clouded judgment. 1430 hours, 3.5 hours. Her phone buzzed again. Matthews update. Emma typed, in position, waiting. Good. Remember, we need proof. Photos, audio, video. Anything that ties Davis to a foreign handler. Understood. And Emma, yeah. Don't get killed. You're expensive to train. Emma almost smiled. Matthews had said that same line to her on her first solo op 12 years ago. She'd been 23 and convinced she was immortal. Now she was 35 and knew better. She got out of the car and did a walking sweep of the strip mall. The coffee shop had floor-to-ceiling windows, good for surveillance, bad for cover. 4 exits, including the back door near the bathrooms. The handler would probably use that one. Emma marked the sight lines in her head. Where she'd sit to watch Davis. Where she'd position herself to follow the handler. Where she'd run if everything went to hell. Planning was just preparing for failure in advance. She went back to the car and waited. 1,600 hours. 2 hours. Her hand shook so badly she had to sit on it. 1630 hours. 90 minutes. Davis's location started moving on her phone. He was leaving base early. Emma's pulse kicked up. She checked her gear one more time. Glock loaded and chambered. Backup mag in her pocket. Phone recording app ready. Knife in her boot because you never knew. 1645 hours. 75 minutes. Davis's truck pulled into the strip mall parking lot. White F-150 dent in the passenger door, faded American flag sticker on the bumper. He parked near the coffee shop entrance. Emma watched through the sedan's tinted windows. Davis got out. Mid-40s, average height, beer gut, thinning hair. He looked exactly like 10,000 other maintenance sergeants in the U.S. Army. Completely forgettable. Perfect cover for a traitor. He walked into the coffee shop. Emma gave him 30 seconds, then followed. The coffee shop smelled like burnt espresso and artificial vanilla. Indie folk music played too loud. A barista with pink hair and too many piercings barely looked up when Emma walked in. Davis was at the counter ordering. Emma grabbed a seat in the back corner where she could see the whole room and the front door and the hallway to the bathrooms. Her right hand trembled on the table. She put it in her lap. Davis got his coffee black, no sugar, and sat at a table near the window. He pulled out his phone and started scrolling. Just another guy killing time. Emma's phone was recording audio and video through the app Matthews had installed. She pretended to read something on her screen while actually watching Davis in her peripheral vision. 1652 hours. 8 minutes. The front door opened. A woman walked in. Late 30s, business casual, expensive purse hair pulled back tight. She looked like a real estate agent or insurance adjuster. Completely unremarkable. She ordered a latte. Emma's instincts screamed. The woman's eyes had swept the room too efficiently. Her posture was too controlled. Her purse hung at exactly the right angle for quick access. Professional. The woman got her latte and walked toward the bathroom hallway. She passed within 3 feet of Davis's table and kept walking. Davis waited 5 seconds, then stood, left his coffee, followed her. Emma counted to 3 and stood. The hallway to the bathrooms was narrow and poorly lit. 2 doors, men's and women's, and a back exit with an alarm bar that had been disabled with a piece of tape. Emma pressed her ear against the back door. Voices, muffled. She couldn't make out words, but the cadence was wrong. Too sharp. Too urgent. This wasn't casual conversation. She pulled out her phone and switched to camera mode, cracked the door open an inch. The woman and Davis stood in the alley between dumpsters. The woman had an envelope in her hand. Davis had his phone out showing her something on the screen. Emma zoomed in, started recording. Confirmed for Tuesday night, Davis was saying. All of Delta Company, 2,300 hours. They'll be... The woman held up her hand. Change of plans. We need the JSOC briefing schedule instead. Davis's face went pale. That's above my clearance. I can't. You'll find a way. The woman's voice went cold. Or your family in Moldova learns what you really do with your Sunday phone calls. Davis's hands shook. You said you'd leave them alone. You promised. I promised nothing. I own you. You do what I say when I say it, or everyone you love learns you're a traitor. She handed him the envelope. 15,000. Encrypted phone inside. Use it once, then destroy it. You have 48 hours. Emma's phone captured everything. Every word, every frame. Davis took the envelope. His hands were shaking as bad as Emma's now. The woman turned to leave and her eyes locked on the cracked door. On Emma. Time slowed. The woman's hand went to her purse. Emma kicked the door open and moved. 3 seconds. That's all the time she had. The woman's hand came out of her purse with a small pistol, probably a .380 compact designed for concealment. Emma closed the distance before the woman could aim. Her left hand struck the woman's wrist, redirecting the barrel. Her right hand, trembling, useless, somehow found the woman's throat and pressed against the carotid. The woman fired. The shot went wide, hitting the dumpster with a metallic clang. Emma drove forward using momentum and body weight instead of strength. The woman's back hit the brick wall. Emma's thumb found the pressure point on her wrist and the gun clattered to the ground. Davis ran. "Stop!" Emma shouted, but Davis was already sprinting toward the parking lot. The woman drove her knee toward Emma's gut. Emma twisted, took it on the hip, countered with an elbow that caught the woman's jaw. The woman's head snapped back. Blood sprayed from her split lip. Emma grabbed the woman's purse, yanked it off her shoulder, and threw it across the alley. Then she swept the woman's legs and put her face first into the concrete. "Don't move." Emma's voice was steady despite her shaking hand. She pulled zip ties from her pocket, always carried them always, and secured the woman's wrists behind her back. The woman spat blood. "You have no idea what you just did. I stopped a traitor from selling more of my people." Emma pulled out her phone, hit Matthew's number. "Emma," Matthews answered on the first ring. "Report. Contact made, female handler. Davis is running, but I got the handoff on video. Full confession recorded." The handler. "Secured. Need extraction and..." The woman laughed. Actually laughed. "You stupid bitch. You think this ends with me?" Emma ignored her. "Matthews, she's talking like there's a bigger network." "There is." The woman's laugh got louder. "Davis is nothing, small fish. But the people I work for, they've been inside Fort Benning for years. And they know about you now. They know about Unit 731. They know about..." Emma pressed her knee into the woman's spine. "Shut up. The girl. The one who called you. Sarah Chen. Pretty thing. Be a shame if something happened to..." Emma's hand moved before her brain caught up. The trembling stopped. Just for a second. Long enough for her fist to connect with the pressure point behind the woman's ear. The woman went limp. "Emma!" Matthew's voice was sharp through the phone. "What just happened?" "She threatened a recruit. I put her out." "Is she alive?" Emma checked for a pulse. "Yeah." "Good. Stay there. Extraction team is 3 minutes out." Emma stood. Her hand was shaking again, worse than before. She looked at her fist, bruised knuckles, split skin, blood that wasn't hers. Davis's truck was gone from the parking lot. Emma ran to her sedan, threw it in drive, and punched the accelerator. Davis had maybe a 2-minute head start. The F-150 wasn't built for speed, but he had momentum and panic on his side. Emma had training and rage. She spotted the truck half a mile down Route 27, weaving through traffic like Davis had forgotten everything he knew about staying invisible. Amateur. Emma closed the distance. Her phone rang. Matthews again. "Where are you?" "Following Davis." "He's running." "Let him go. We have the handler. We have the recording. That's enough." "It's not enough." Emma's voice cracked. "He sold out 7 operators. He's been feeding intel for years. And he just learned his handler got arrested, which means he's about to run, or..." Davis's truck swerved hard right onto a side road. Emma followed. "Or contact his network and warn them. I need to stop him before he burns everything." "Emma, listen to me." She hung up. The side road turned to gravel, then dirt, then nothing but forest on both sides. Davis was heading for the back country, probably had a safe house or a stash vehicle hidden somewhere. Emma's sedan wasn't built for off-road, but she pushed it anyway. Rocks pinged off the undercarriage, branches scraped the sides. Her trembling hand gripped the wheel so hard her knuckles went white. Davis's truck skidded around a curve. Emma followed. The road narrowed. Trees pressed in from both sides. Then Davis slammed on his brakes. Emma reacted on instinct, yanked the wheel right, hit her own brakes. Felt the sedan slide sideways. She stopped inches from a tree. Davis jumped out of his truck, holding a rifle. "Get out!" His voice was shrill, panicked. "Get out of the car!" Emma's right hand reached for the Glock, came up shaking. She forced it steady through sheer will and opened the door. "Hands up!" Davis screamed. "Hands up!" Emma raised both hands. Her right one trembled. "Calvin, you don't want to do this. You ruined everything. Everything." Tears streamed down Davis's face. They have my family. They'll kill my family. We can protect them. Put the rifle down and... Liar! You're all liars! Davis's finger moved to the trigger. Emma's left hand dropped. Davis fired. The shot went high, panic shooting no aim. Emma drew her Glock and fired twice. Center mass. Textbook. Davis dropped. Emma ran to him, kicked the rifle away, checked for a pulse. Still alive. Barely. Both shots had hit his chest. He was choking on blood, eyes wide with fear and pain. "Help," he gasped. "Please." Emma pulled out her phone, called 911. Shots fired Route 27 service road near mile marker 14. One male GSW to chest, immediate medical needed. The dispatcher started asking questions. Emma hung up. Davis's hand grabbed her wrist. "My family. They'll be protected. Promise?" "I promise." Emma meant it. Davis's eyes glazed. His grip loosened. His breathing stopped. Emma sat back, stared at the body, at her trembling hand still holding the Glock. 7 operators dead in Istanbul. Now 1 traitor dead in Georgia. The math didn't balance. It never did. Sirens approached in the distance. Emma wiped the Glock clean, placed it in Davis's hand, and arranged the scene to look like he'd shot himself after a pursuit. Not perfect, but good enough for the first responders who'd arrived before Matthew's people could sanitize everything. She walked back to her sedan, started the engine, drove away as the sirens got louder. Her phone rang. Matthews. "Please tell me you didn't just do what I think you did." "Davis is dead, self-inflicted, couldn't handle the pressure." "Emma. He was going to burn the whole network. This was cleaner." Matthews was quiet for a long moment. "The handler is talking, giving up names. We're rolling up 6 more people across 3 bases." "Good. But she confirmed something else. There's someone higher up, someone we haven't identified yet, someone inside Fort Benning with enough access to coordinate all of this." Emma's hand clenched the wheel. "Who?" "We don't know. But she said you'd figure it out. Said you'd already met them." Emma's mind raced through faces. "Rodriguez, Captain Morrison, the recruits, She also said something else." Matthew's voice went quiet. "She said the real target wasn't the training schedules or the briefings. It was you." Emma's blood went cold. "What? Unit 731, they wanted you. Wanted to confirm you were still alive. Everything else was just bait to draw you out." "That's impossible. Nobody knows I'm..." "Somebody does, and now they've confirmed it." Matthews paused. "Emma, you need to come in. We need to move you somewhere safe until..." "No. That wasn't a request, and I'm not taking it as one." Emma's jaw set. "Whoever set this up knows about me, knows about Sarah Chen, knows about Fort Benning, which means they're still there, still watching, and if I run, they win. If you stay, you die. Then I die making sure nobody else does first." She hung up, turned the car around, headed back toward Fort Benning. Her right hand shook on the wheel, but her left hand was steady. And in her head, she was already planning how to find a ghost when you were a ghost yourself. The base gates came into view, and Emma's phone buzzed with a message that made her stomach drop. Sarah Chen missing. Last seen 1847 hours. All units searching. She pulled over hard enough to leave skid marks. Dialed Matthews. "I was just about to call you," he answered. "The Chen girl. I know. When... 40 minutes ago, she left the barracks to make a phone call and never came back. MPs are searching, but she called me earlier, warned me to be careful." Emma's hand trembled so badly she had to grip the phone with both hands. "They took her because of me." "We don't know that." "Yes, we do. The handler said they know about Sarah, said it would be a shame if something happened to her. This is a message." Matthews was quiet for 3 seconds. "What do you need?" "Everything you have on personnel with access to recruit movements. Anyone who could have known Sarah left the barracks." "That's a long list." "Then narrow it. Who knew I was undercover? Who had clearance to know Unit 731 exists?" "Emma." "Who?" Matthews exhaled. At Fort Benning, 4 people. Me, Director Hall, Captain Morrison, and Colonel Frank Weber, base commander. Emma's mind raced. Weber, what do we know about him? 28 years of service. Decorated. Clean record. Wife died 2 years ago from cancer. Medical bills nearly bankrupted him. Medical bills? Emma's voice went flat. That's motive. For what? Selling secrets. For selling everything. Emma started the car again. A man watching his wife die while debt piles up. That's a man desperate enough to make bad deals. And if someone offered him money, a lot of money, he'd convince himself he was doing it for her memory, for survival. That's speculation. So was Davis, until I watched him take an envelope full of cash. Emma punched the accelerator. Where's Weber right now? I'll find out. Emma, if you're right about this, then Sarah has maybe 2 hours before they kill her or move her off base permanently. I'm not waiting for confirmation. She hung up and drove straight through the gates. The guard waved her through without checking the sedan's plates still worked. Her phone buzzed. Matthews had sent a location pin Weber's office. Administration building, 3rd floor. Emma parked and grabbed the Glock from the passenger seat. Checked the mag. 11 rounds left. She had 1 spare mag in her pocket. 22 bullets total to take down however many people were protecting a colonel who'd sold his soul. The odds had been worse. She walked into the administration building. Late evening now, most offices, dark skeleton crew working late. A corporal at the front desk looked up. Can I help you? Colonel Weber expecting me. Emma's voice was steady. Her hand wasn't. She kept it in her pocket. The corporal checked a list. I don't see. Call him. Tell him Unit 731 is here. The corporal's face went white. He picked up the phone. Dialed. Waited. Sir, there's someone here who says... He paused. Listened. His face got whiter. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. He hung up and pointed to the stairs. 3rd floor, last office on the right. Emma climbed the stairs. Each step felt heavier than the last. Her right hand shook so badly she had to keep it pressed against her thigh. Weber's office door was open. Light spilled into the hallway. She stopped at the threshold. Colonel Frank Weber sat behind his desk. Late 50s gray hair, cut military short uniform, pressed and perfect. He looked like every other career officer Emma had ever met. Tired eyes, tight jaw, shoulders that carried too much weight. Private Mitchell. His voice was calm. Too calm. Or should I say, Spectre 9. Emma's blood went cold. Nobody had used that call sign in 3 years. Where is she? The Chen girl. Weber gestured to the chair across from him. Sit, please. Where is she? Safe. For now. Sit down and we'll discuss terms. Emma's hand moved toward the Glock in her waistband. Weber raised his hand. I wouldn't. The moment you draw that weapon, my insurance policy activates, and Private Chen dies choking on her own blood in a place you'll never find. He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. Now sit. Emma sat. Her hand stayed near the Glock, but didn't draw. Weber leaned back. You're wondering how I knew, how I put it together. I'm wondering how long you've been selling out your own people. 2 years, since the medical bills started burying me alive. No shame in his voice, just exhaustion. My wife needed experimental treatments. The Army's insurance wouldn't cover it. I watched her die slowly while bureaucrats told me there was nothing they could do. So when someone offered me a way out, a way to honor her memory by never being helpless again, I took it. You took blood money. I took survival. Weber's jaw tightened. You don't get to judge me. You've killed how many people? 50, 100 more. I killed enemies. You sold allies. I sold information. They're the ones who weaponized it. Weber opened a drawer and pulled out a file, slid it across the desk. Do you know what's in here? Your entire Unit 731 service record. Every mission, every kill, every time you became a ghost and erased someone who your government decided didn't deserve to exist. Emma didn't touch the file. What do you want? I want you to understand that we're the same. You and me. We both did terrible things because someone with authority told us it was necessary. The only difference is, you're still pretending your hands are clean. My hands have never been clean, but I've never sold out my own. Emma leaned forward. Where is Sarah Chen? Tell me first, how did you figure out it was me? The handler said I'd already met the real target. That narrowed it to 4 people. Matthews and Hall have nothing to gain from this. Morrison is too scared of his own shadow. That left you. Emma's voice was ice. And when Matthews mentioned your wife's medical bills, it clicked. Desperate people make desperate choices. You made yours. Now tell me where Sarah is before I make mine. Weber studied her. She's in the old munitions bunker, east side of base. Section that's supposed to be condemned but still has power running to it. I've been using it as a staging area for what? For things you don't need to know about. Weber stood. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to walk away. Forget about the Chen girl. Forget about me. In exchange, I'll let her go unharmed and disappear from your life forever. Emma stood too. Or I make one phone call and she dies. Then I activate protocols that will destroy every piece of evidence connecting me to any of this. You'll have nothing but suspicions, and I'll have plausible deniability backed by 28 years of spotless service. Weber's hand moved toward his desk phone. Choose. Emma's trembling hand steadied. Just for a second. I choose option 3. Her left hand shot across the desk and grabbed Weber's wrist before he could reach the phone. Her right hand, still shaking but functional, drew the Glock and pressed it under his chin. Call whoever's with Sarah. Tell them to stand down. Do it now. Weber's eyes showed no fear. You won't shoot me. Not here. Not with witnesses in the building. You're right. I won't shoot you. Emma's voice dropped to a whisper. I'll do something worse. I'll make you watch while I dismantle everything you built. Every contact. Every payment. Every piece of your network. And then I'll make sure everyone knows your wife died for nothing because you turned her memory into blood money. Weber's face went pale. You wouldn't try me. His hand moved to his cell phone instead. Dialed, put it on speaker. Someone answered after 2 rings. Male voice, young, nervous. Sir. It's over. Release the girl. Do it now. But sir, the payment... I said release her. Weber's voice cracked. Let her go and get off this base. You have 10 minutes before MPs lock down everything. Sir. 10 minutes or you're on your own. Weber hung up, looked at Emma. Done. She'll be released at the north fence line. Now get that gun out of my face. Emma didn't move. Who else is involved? Nobody you haven't already found. Bullshit. An operation this size needs support staff, logistics, communications. Give me names. Weber's jaw clenched. I give you names, they'll kill me. I don't give you names, I'll kill you. Choose fast. Captain Morrison. Emma's blood went cold. Lance Morrison's uncle. No, James Morrison. He's been facilitating movements off base, falsifying records. He didn't know what it was for, but he knew enough to be complicit. Weber swallowed. There's one more. Sergeant Rodriguez. Emma's hand tightened on the Glock. My drill sergeant. He's been feeding recruit information, medical records, psychological profiles, anything that could identify high-value targets. Weber's voice got quieter. Like you. He's the one who reported your tattoo to me. Said you were too skilled to be a regular recruit. That's how I knew to activate the Chen contingency. Emma felt rage building in her chest like a wildfire. Rodriguez, the man who'd pushed her, tested her, humiliated her in formation. He'd been working for Weber the whole time. Where is he? Barracks, 3rd platoon area. He's waiting for my call to... Emma's phone buzzed. Matthews. Chen found. North fence. Shaken but unharmed. MPs have her. Relief flooded through Emma so intensely her hands started shaking again. She lowered the Glock but kept it pointed at Weber. You're going to stand up. Walk out of this office with me, and you're going to confess everything to Matthews. Weber laughed. Actually laughed. You think I'm going to military prison? I have 50 million in offshore accounts. I have contacts in 14 countries. I have extraction plans that make yours look like amateur hour. He stood slowly. You got the girl back. That's your win. Take it and walk away. Not happening. Then you'll have to shoot me. And we both know you won't. Not in cold blood. Not when there's no immediate threat. Weber smiled. That's the difference between operators like you and people like me. You still have rules. I don't. His hand moved faster than Emma expected, hitting a button under his desk. An alarm screamed through the building. Security breach, 3rd floor, Weber shouted. Intruder with a weapon. Emma heard boots pounding up the stairs. Multiple people, coming fast. She had maybe 15 seconds before MPs flooded the hallway and saw her holding a gun on a colonel. They wouldn't ask questions. They'd shoot first and sort it out later. Weber's smile got wider. You lose, Spectre 9. You can't fight your way out of this building without killing American soldiers. And you won't do that, so you'll surrender. And by the time your handler sorts out jurisdiction, I'll be on a plane to somewhere without extradition treaties. Emma's mind raced. He was right. She couldn't shoot her way out. Couldn't fight MPs who were just doing their jobs. Couldn't. Her phone buzzed. Matthews, Weber's office is wired. We heard everything. Extraction team breaching in 30 seconds. Hold position. Emma's mouth twitched. You're wrong about one thing. What's that? I'm not alone. The window behind Weber exploded inward. 2 black-clad operators rappelled through the shattered glass, weapons up, moving with the precision of people who'd done this 1,000 times. Hands, show me hands. The first operator's voice was mechanical, emotionless. Weber's hands went up. His face showed shock for the first time. The second operator moved to Emma. Ma'am, are you Spectre 9? Yeah. Colonel Matthews sends his regards. We'll take it from here. The door burst open. 4 MPs rushed in, weapons drawn. Everyone on the ground! The first operator pulled out credentials. Pentagon Security, this is a federal operation. Stand down. The MPs looked confused. Their sergeant looked at Weber. Sir. Weber's face had gone from shock to resignation. Stand down. They have jurisdiction. The operators zip-tied Weber's wrists with efficient brutality, pushed him toward the door. Weber looked back at Emma. This isn't over. I have lawyers. I have friends. I'll be out in 6 months. Maybe, Emma's voice was flat. But everyone will know what you did. Your wife's name will be tied to treason. Her memory won't be about courage or survival. It'll be about the colonel who sold his honor for cash. Weber's face crumpled. For the first time, he looked his age. She deserved better than what the army gave her. Yeah, she did. Emma's hand stopped shaking. Just for a moment. But this isn't what she would have wanted. And you know it. The operators dragged Weber out. The lead operator turned to Emma. Matthews wants you at the bunker. There's something you need to see. Emma holstered the Glock and followed. The old munitions bunker was a 20-minute drive across base. Emma rode in the operator's vehicle, silent. Her mind racing through everything Weber had said. Rodriguez was involved. Captain Morrison was involved. How deep did this go? How many others? The bunker entrance was surrounded by MPs and federal agents. Floodlights turned night into day. Emma saw Sarah Chen sitting in the back of an ambulance, blanket around her shoulders, talking to a female agent. Emma walked over. Sarah looked up. Her eyes were red but clear. You came, Sarah whispered. Of course I came. Emma's throat tightened. You okay? They didn't hurt me. Just tied me up and left me in there. Told me to stay quiet or... Sarah's voice cracked. Why did they take me? Because I made them angry. Because they wanted leverage. Emma sat next to her. I'm sorry. This is my fault. No, it's not. Sarah's voice got stronger. They're the ones who did this, not you. You saved me. Matthews appeared beside them. Private Chen, we need you to give a statement. Then we'll get you somewhere safe. Sarah looked at Emma. Will I see you again? Emma wanted to say yes. wanted to promise that this was over and everything would go back to normal, but she'd made enough promises she couldn't keep. I don't know. Sarah nodded like she understood. Let the agent lead her away. Matthews gestured for Emma to follow him into the bunker. The interior was concrete and steel and felt like a tomb. Emergency lights cast everything in harsh shadows. Down a flight of stairs, through a heavy door, into a large room that had been converted into something halfway between an office and a prison cell. In the center of the room, a table covered with documents, photos, maps, financial records. Matthews picked up a photo, showed it to Emma. Her blood froze. The photo showed all 73 members of Unit 731, taken 12 years ago. Everyone young and confident and convinced they'd live forever. Every face had a red X through it except one, Emma's. Weber had this in his files, Matthews said quietly, along with current surveillance photos of you at Fort Benning, orders to confirm your identity, instructions to capture you alive if possible. Emma's hand trembled. Who gave the orders? We don't know yet, but whoever it is has access to classified intel that should have been destroyed. They know about Unit 731, know about you, and they've been planning this for years. Years? Matthews pulled out another document. Weber started selling information 18 months ago, but his first contact was someone asking specifically about Unit 731 survivors, about whether any had resurfaced, about how to identify them. He paused. Emma, someone's been hunting you. Weber was just the latest tool they used. Emma stared at the photo, at all those dead faces, at her own face with its red X waiting to be drawn. Who? Her voice cracked. Who wants me dead? We're working on it. But based on these documents, they have resources, government-level access, patience. Matthews put the photo down. Emma, you can't stay at Fort Benning. You need to disappear again. New identity, new location. We can have you out of the country by... No. That's not a request. And I'm not taking it as one. Emma's jaw set. Whoever's hunting me has already killed 73 of my people. They took Sarah to send me a message. They've spent years planning this. If I run, they'll just wait and come at me somewhere else. Somewhere I'm not ready. And if you stay, you're exposed. Good. Let them come. Emma's hand steadied. I'm done hiding. I'm done pretending I'm just another recruit. Whoever wants me dead, they're going to have to come through the front door. Matthews studied her. You're talking about making yourself bait. I'm talking about ending this. By doing what's standing in formation waiting to get killed. By forcing them to move now instead of later. By controlling the battlefield instead of reacting. Emma picked up the photo of Unit 731, stared at it. These people died because someone sold them out. Sarah almost died for the same reason. How many more have to die before I stop running? Matthews was quiet for a long moment. What do you need? Rodriguez in custody. Captain Morrison too. Anyone else connected to Weber. And I need Fort Benning locked down tight. Nobody in or out without being screened. Done. What else? I need you to leak something. Make it public that Unit 731 had a survivor. Make it public that she's at Fort Benning. Make whoever's hunting me know that I'm here and I'm waiting. That's suicide. That's chess. They've been moving pieces for years. Time to flip the board. Emma's voice went cold. Whoever did this killed my family, turned Sarah into a target, made good soldiers into traitors. I'm going to find them. I'm going to end them. And I'm going to make sure everyone knows what happens when you hunt a ghost. Matthews reached out and took the photo from her hands. Your family. That's what you called them. Unit 731. That's what they were. Emma's voice cracked. We trained together, bled together, died together. Everyone except me. I survived because I ran, because I hid, because I was too scared to be Spectre 9 anymore. You weren't scared, you were smart. I was both. Emma looked at Matthews. Really looked. But I'm done being smart. Done being careful. Done letting other people die while I hide behind cover identities. Whoever wants me, tell them I'm right here. Tell them Spectre 9 is back. And tell them to bring everything they've got because I'm not running anymore." Matthews smiled. Not his usual cold smile, but something warmer. Something almost proud. "You know what you're signing up for. A war I should have fought 3 years ago. You'll need support, assets, intel. I'll need Rodriguez first. Where is he?" Matthews pulled out his phone, made a call. "Location on Drill Sergeant Rodriguez now." Pause. "Copy." He hung up. "Barracks, 3rd Platoon area. MPs are moving to secure him, but..." Emma was already walking toward the door. "Emma, wait for backup." She didn't wait. The barracks were 10 minutes away if you followed traffic laws. Emma made it in 5. She parked outside 3rd Platoon and walked through the front entrance like she owned the place. The duty officer looked up. "Ma'am, you can't..." Emma showed him the Pentagon credentials Matthews had given her. "Where's Rodriguez?" The officer's face went pale. "3rd door on the left." But Emma walked past him. Rodriguez's door was closed. She tried the handle. Locked. She knocked. "Rodriguez, open up." Silence. She knocked harder. "I know you're in there. I know what you did. You have 10 seconds to open this door before I kick it down and we do this the hard way." Movement inside. Footsteps. The lock clicked. The door opened 6 inches. Rodriguez's face appeared in the gap. He looked tired. Scared. "Mitchell, what do you..." Emma pushed the door open and walked in. Rodriguez stumbled back. "You reported my tattoo to Weber." Rodriguez's face confirmed it before his mouth did. "I don't know what you're..." "Don't lie to me. Not now." Emma's hand was shaking, but her voice was steady. "You've been feeding him recruit information, medical records, psychological profiles. You sold out Sarah Chen. You sold out me. For what money? Career advancement? What?" Rodriguez's shoulders sagged. "My daughter, she's sick. Leukemia. The treatments aren't covered by insurance. Weber offered to help. Said all I had to do was share some files. Said nobody would get hurt. 7 operators died in Istanbul because of intel that came from this base. I didn't know about that, I swear I didn't know. But you knew something was wrong. You knew you were breaking the law. And you did it anyway." Emma stepped closer. "Sarah Chen almost died tonight. 17 years old. Her only crime was being nice to the weird recruit with the shaking hand. They took her because you told Weber about me." Rodriguez's face crumpled. "I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry, my daughter. Your daughter deserves better than a father who sold his honor." Emma's voice was ice. "MPs are on their way. You're going to confess everything. Every file you shared, every conversation you had, everything. And then you're going to live with what you did." "Mitchell, please. Don't call me that. My name is Emma. Emma Ward, Spectre 9, Unit 731, and I'm the last ghost you'll ever meet." Boots pounded up the hallway. MPs burst through the door, weapons drawn. "On the ground now." Rodriguez dropped to his knees, hands up, tears streaming down his face. The MPs zip-tied him and dragged him out, still crying, still saying he was sorry. Emma watched him go, felt nothing, no satisfaction, no anger, just emptiness. Her phone buzzed. Matthews. "Morrison secured, Weber talking. We have 12 more names. This is bigger than we thought." Emma typed back. "How much bigger?" "Big enough that Director Hall wants you in DC tomorrow for debriefing. Big enough that Congress is getting involved. Big enough that Unit 731 is about to stop being a secret." Emma stared at the message. Unit 731. The program that wasn't supposed to exist. The people who died in shadows and been buried without names. They were about to become public knowledge. She thought about the 73 faces in that photo. Wondered if they'd want this. Wondered if sunlight would honor their sacrifice or just expose their ghosts to a world that wouldn't understand. Her hand trembled. She looked at it, at the 7 coils wrapped around her wrist, at the numbers that carried the weight of 73 names. "I'm not hiding you anymore," she whispered to the tattoo, to the ghosts, to the part of herself she'd tried to bury. If they want a war, we'll give them one. But this time, we're walking through the front door. Emma walked out of the barracks and straight into Director Hall, standing next to a black sedan, with her arms crossed. Get in. Emma opened her mouth to argue, but Hall's expression stopped her cold. This wasn't a request. This was the woman who'd authorized Unit 731 in the first place, who'd signed off on operations that turned 23-year-olds into weapons, who'd buried 73 bodies under classified headings, and never lost a night's sleep. Emma got in. Hall slid into the back seat beside her. The driver pulled away before the door fully closed. You've made a lot of noise tonight, Hall said. I caught your traitors. You exposed an entire operation before we could map the full network. Weber's talking, but his handler is in the wind. Captain Morrison is screaming for a lawyer. Rodriguez is useless. And now we have half the Pentagon asking questions about a program that's supposed to be dead. Hall's voice could cut glass. So, no, you didn't catch my traitors. You scared them underground. Emma's jaw clenched. Sarah Chen is safe because you got lucky, not skilled. Lucky. Hall pulled out a tablet and shoved it at Emma. This is what happened while you were playing hero. The screen showed security footage. Embassy in Morocco. Timestamp 2 hours ago. The feed showed people running smoke gunfire. Then it cut to black. 3 of our people dead, 1 missing. The attack happened 30 minutes after Weber was arrested. Hall's voice went quiet. Someone knew we'd moved on him. Someone gave the order to burn everything connected to the network. Your noise got people killed. Emma's hand started shaking. That's exactly what happened. You wanted to flip the board, congratulations. You just told everyone we're coming and gave them time to scatter. Hall took the tablet back. Matthews thinks you're ready to go public. To be bait. To draw out whoever's running this. I think you're a liability who's forgotten that operations require precision, not passion. Then why am I in this car? Because Matthews outranks me on this. Because you're the only confirmed Unit 731 survivor. And because despite my better judgment, you might be the only one crazy enough to see this through. Hall leaned forward. But understand this, you're not running this operation. You're not making calls. You're a chess piece, not the player. Are we clear? Emma met her eyes. Crystal. Good. We're going to Fort Bragg. There's someone who needs to meet you. The drive took 3 hours. Emma tried to sleep, but every time she closed her eyes, she saw Rodriguez crying. Weber smiling Sarah's terrified face. The mistakes compounded in her head until her hand shook so badly she had to sit on it. Hall watched her with clinical detachment. How long have you had the tremor? 3 years. Since the program ended. Since I watched my team get ambushed because someone fed bad intel to our command structure. Since I dragged bodies out of a building that wasn't supposed to exist and buried them in graves that have no markers. Emma's voice cracked. Since I became the only one left to carry their names. Survivor's guilt manifesting as physical trauma. Textbook PTSD. Hall said it like she was reading a medical chart. You should have been in therapy. Should have been processed out. Should have been anywhere but active duty. I tried retirement, lasted 6 months before I was climbing the walls. Tried civilian life. Lasted a year before I put in for reassignment. Emma looked at her trembling hand. Turns out, being a weapon is the only thing I'm good at. No, being a weapon is the only thing you've been trained for. There's a difference. Hall's voice softened just slightly. What happened to Unit 731 wasn't your fault. Everyone keeps saying that. Because it's true. The ambush came from compromised intel. The same network we're fighting now. They've been killing Unit 731 operators for years and making it look like operational failures. Hall pulled up another file on her tablet. We've identified 6 other training accidents and mission casualties that match the pattern. Someone's been systematically eliminating anyone connected to the program. Emma's blood went cold. Why? That's what we need to find out. And that's why you're meeting the architect. The who? The man who designed Unit 731. The man who recruited you 12 years ago. The man who's been tracking these deaths and trying to find the source. Hall glanced at Emma. He's been looking for you for 3 years. Thought you were dead until Weber's arrest put your name in the system. Emma's mind raced. The architect. She remembered him vaguely, older man, gray beard, eyes that saw through, bullshit voice that could convince you to run into hell because it was the right thing to do. He'd interviewed her when she was 23 and stupid and convinced she could save the world. He's retired, Hall continued. Lives off-grid. Refuses most contact with the agency. But when he heard you were alive, he demanded a meeting. Said you're the key to finding who's killing his people. His people are my people. We're my people. Emma's throat tightened. And they're all dead. Not all of them. Emma's head snapped toward Hall. What? The architect has been investigating. He found anomalies in the casualty reports. 2 other Unit 731 operators whose deaths he can't confirm. Their bodies were never recovered. Their death certificates are suspicious. He thinks they might still be alive. Emma's heart hammered. Who? He'll tell you himself. We're here. The car pulled up to a small house surrounded by woods. No neighbors. No streetlights. Just darkness and the kind of silence that made you aware of your own breathing. Emma got out. Her hand was shaking so badly she could barely grip the Glock she'd instinctively reached for. The front door opened. A man stepped onto the porch, older than Emma remembered, gray beard, now white, but the eyes were the same. Sharp. Knowing. Sad in a way that came from watching too many young people die. Spectre 9. His voice was exactly as she remembered it. You're late. Got held up saving a recruit from the network that's been killing your people. Emma walked toward the porch. Director Hall says you've been looking for me. For 3 years. Thought you died in Jakarta. He gestured inside. Come in. We have a lot to discuss. The interior was sparse books, maps, computers running encrypted programs, walls covered with photos connected by red string like some conspiracy theorist's fever dream. Except Emma recognized the faces. Every photo was someone from Unit 731. Every red string connected their death to a location, a date, a pattern. Jesus Christ, Emma whispered. 73 deaths over 8 years. The architect walked to the wall. Most listed as training accidents or KIA. But when you map them, look at the timing, analyze the circumstances they were hunted, systematically, professionally. Emma stepped closer, saw names she hadn't thought about in years, faces she'd tried to forget. Who? That's what I've been trying to figure out. He tapped one photo. Jackson. Supposed car accident in Virginia. But the brake lines were cut with military precision. No investigation. Another photo. Keller. Drowned during a training exercise. But 3 witnesses said she was a competitive swimmer who'd done that course 100 times. Another. Chen. Yes, different Chen than your recruit. Killed in a home invasion in Texas. Nothing stolen. Just executed. Emma's hand clenched. Why? Because someone wants Unit 731 erased from history. Not just the program, the people. The evidence. The witnesses. The architect pulled down a map showing deaths across 18 states and 6 countries. At first I thought it was enemy action, revenge for operations we'd run. But the pattern is too coordinated, too well-funded, too domestic. You think it's internal. Someone in our own government. I think it's someone who was part of Unit 731. Someone who turned. Someone who knows how we think, how we operate, how to find us when we hide. The architect's voice went quiet. And I think they've been using the same network that recruited Weber to do it. Emma's mind raced through every face she'd known in Unit 731. Who would turn? We were all volunteers. We all believed. People change. Money corrupts. Ideology shifts. The architect turned to face her. Or maybe someone was always working for the other side and we never knew it. Hall spoke up from the doorway. We've been analyzing Weber's communications. His original contact came through an encrypted channel that's been active for 9 years. 9 years, Emma. That predates most of Unit 731's operations. Whoever's running this has been planning it since before you even joined. Emma's legs felt weak. She sat down hard on a worn chair. You're telling me someone's been playing a long game, recruiting people into 731, waiting, then killing them years later. I'm telling you, someone built a sleeper network inside the most classified program in U.S. Special Operations and has been activating it piece by piece. The architect pulled up a chair across from Emma. And I think they're saving you for last. Why me? Because you're Spectre 9, the best operator we ever produced, the one with the most confirmed eliminations, the one who could identify the traitor if given enough time. He leaned forward. You're not just a survivor. You're a threat, and they've been trying to draw you out for 3 years. Emma's hand trembled in her lap. Weber said they wanted me alive. For interrogation, for leverage, for something we haven't figured out yet. The architect's expression softened. Emma, I'm sorry. I recruited you into this. I told you it would make a difference, that you'd save lives, and instead I put a target on your back that won't come off until you're dead. Not your fault. It is. I built the program. I chose the people, and when it all went to hell, I survived while they died. His voice cracked. We're the same, you and I, carrying ghosts, counting names, wondering why we're still breathing when better people aren't. Emma looked at him, really looked, and saw the same exhaustion she felt every morning when her hands started shaking. The same guilt, the same weight. You said 2 others might be alive. The architect stood and walked to the wall, pulled down 2 photos, set them in front of Emma. The first face made her gasp. Marcus Webb, call sign Phantom 6, explosives expert. Emma's friend. Her brother in all but blood, listed as KIA 4 years ago in Afghanistan. The second face made her blood freeze. Alexei Volkov, call sign Reaper 3, Intel analyst. The quietest person Emma had ever met. The one who could crack encryption like it was a children's puzzle, listed as killed in a training accident 3 years ago. Marcus and Alexei, Emma whispered. You think they're alive? Marcus's body was never recovered. The explosion that supposedly killed him vaporized the entire building. No DNA, no remains, nothing. The architect tapped the photo. Alexei's death was even cleaner. Car went off a bridge into a river. Body found 3 days later. But the dental records didn't match. Someone else died in that car. Emma's heart hammered. Where are they? If I knew that I wouldn't need you. The architect pulled up a laptop and showed Emma a map with 2 red dots. Marcus's last confirmed location was Kabul, Afghanistan, 6 months ago. Someone matching his description was spotted in the old city buying weapons with cash. Alexei's trail goes to Prague, 3 months ago. Someone with his skill set hacked into a Russian intelligence database and left a signature that only Unit 731 personnel would recognize. What signature? The architect showed her a line of code, 731 PHANTOM. Emma's breath caught. Unit 731 Phantom. Marcus's call sign embedded in code. They're alive. They're hiding. And they're leaving breadcrumbs for someone smart enough to follow. The architect closed the laptop. Someone like you. Hall stepped forward. Which is why you're going to Prague tomorrow. Find Alexei. Find out what he knows. Find out why he faked his death and whether he's running from the same people who are hunting you. Emma stood. Her hand was shaking so badly she had to grip the chair to steady herself. And if he's one of them, if he turned, then you do what Unit 731 trained you to do. Hall's voice was ice. You eliminate the threat. He was my friend. He was your teammate. There's a difference. Hall pulled out a phone and handed it to Emma. This is your lifeline. Encrypted, satellite connection. Matthews and I are the only contacts. You find Alexei. You determine if he's an asset or a threat. You report back. Those are your orders. Emma took the phone. It felt heavier than it should. And Marcus? One thing at a time. Prague first. Then we'll talk about Kabul. The architect walked Emma to the door. Be careful. If Alexei is alive and hiding, there's a reason. And if he's working for whoever's killing us, you won't see the knife until it's already in your back. Comforting. I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to keep you alive long enough to end this. He put a hand on her shoulder. You're not alone anymore, Emma. You have resources, support, people who want the same thing you want. What's that? Justice for the 73 who can't get it themselves. Emma walked to the car. Hall was already inside. The driver started the engine. You have 12 hours to prep, Hall said. We've arranged cover as a freelance journalist investigating human trafficking in Eastern Europe. Credentials, credit cards, apartment lease in Prague, all in your legend. Your flight leaves at 600. What about Fort Benning Sarah Chen? Sarah's in protective custody. The rest of the platoon thinks you got medically discharged. Rodriguez and Morrison are in federal custody. Weber's handler is being extracted as we speak. Hall's expression was unreadable. You did your job there. Now you do your job in Prague. Emma leaned back in the seat, closed her eyes, tried to process everything. Marcus alive. Alexei alive. A traitor inside Unit 731. Someone hunting them for 9 years. Her hand trembled in her lap. The tremor, Hall said quietly. It's getting worse. Yeah. You should see a doctor. Doctors can't fix this. Physical therapy can. Medication can. Cognitive behavioral therapy can. Hall paused. Revenge can't. Revenge. Emma opened her eyes. I'm not looking for revenge. Then what are you looking for? An ending. A reason why I survived when they didn't. A purpose for carrying these names around my wrist. Emma's voice cracked. Something that makes the last 3 years of hiding worth it. Hall was quiet for a long moment. Then she said something Emma didn't expect. I'm sorry. For what? For creating Unit 731. For taking young people and turning them into weapons. For pretending we were saving the world, when really we were just breaking people and calling it patriotism. Hall's voice was tired. You deserved better. They all did. Emma didn't know what to say to that, so she said nothing. The rest of the drive was silent. They dropped her at a safe house outside D.C. Hall handed her a bag with clothes, documents, money, and a weapon. Your plane ticket is inside. Your contact in Prague is a man named Joseph. He'll meet you at the apartment. He knows the city, knows the underground. He'll help you find Alexei. And if I can't find him, then you come home and we try Kabul with Marcus. Hall turned to leave, then stopped. Emma, when you find Alexei, if you find him, remember that people change. 3 years in hiding changes a person. Don't expect him to be the man you remember. I won't. And don't hesitate if he's turned. Sentiment gets you killed. I know. Hall nodded and left. Emma walked into the safe house and locked the door. Opened the bag. Inside was everything she needed to become someone else for a while. Sarah Jensen, freelance journalist, age 32, based out of New York. She looked at the passport photo. The woman staring back looked tired but determined. Emma wondered if that's what she looked like to other people. Tired, determined, haunted. She set up the laptop and logged into the encrypted channel Matthews had given her access to. Started researching Prague, the old city, the underground, the places someone like Alexei would hide. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her thumb hit the green button. Emma. The voice was male, young, scared. It's me. Her blood went cold. Who is this? It's Marcus. Emma's hand started shaking so badly the phone almost fell. That's impossible. You're dead. I saw the report. I mourned you. You mourned a lie. I've been alive. Been hiding. Been trying to figure out who's killing us. His voice cracked. Emma, you need to listen to me. Prague is a trap. Alexei's not there. He's dead. Really dead. Someone's using his legend to draw you out. How do I know you're really Marcus? Silence. Then Fort Bragg, 2015. You and I got drunk after a mission in Syria went sideways. You told me about your sister. The one who died when you were kids. The one nobody else knew about. You said that's why you joined 731, because you couldn't save her. but maybe you could save someone else's sister. Emma's throat closed. Nobody knew that story except Marcus. She'd never told another soul. "Marcus," she whispered. "Yeah, it's me. Listen, Hall's compromised. The architect's compromised. The whole operation is rotten. You need to disappear now before they—" The line went dead. Emma stared at the phone. Her mind raced. Marcus alive, calling her, warning her that Hall was compromised. But Hall had just spent 3 hours telling her about the conspiracy, had given her resources, had sent her to Prague to find Alexei. Unless Prague was the trap, unless Hall was the traitor, unless everything Emma had been told tonight was a lie designed to put her exactly where the enemy wanted her. Emma's hand clenched around the phone. She had 12 hours before the flight. 12 hours to figure out who was telling the truth. 12 hours to decide if she was hunting ghosts or walking into her own execution. She pulled up the encrypted laptop and started digging. If Hall was compromised, there'd be evidence, financial records, communication patterns, something. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Her hand was shaking, but her mind was clear. This was what she was good at: finding patterns, connecting dots, seeing the truth buried under layers of lies. 3 hours later, she found it. Hall's financial records showed payments from a shell corporation that traced back to Moldova, the same country where Davis's family lived, the same network that had recruited Weber. Emma's blood ran cold. Hall had been part of it from the beginning. The woman who'd created Unit 731 had been the one systematically destroying it. Emma grabbed her gear and ran. Emma made it 3 blocks before the first tail picked her up. Black SUV 2 cars back, changing lanes when she changed lanes. Amateur hour. Hall wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. Emma ditched the safe house car in a parking garage and stole a Honda with Maryland plates. Old trick. Reliable. She hot-wired it in 40 seconds and was moving again before the SUV realized she'd switched vehicles. Her phone buzzed. Matthews. She let it ring. It buzzed again. Hall. She powered it off and threw it out the window. The burner phone Marcus had called from was still in her pocket. She pulled over under a highway overpass and dialed the only number in its call history. It rang 6 times. Then, "You're still alive. Good." "Marcus, where are you?" "Somewhere safe. For now." His voice was strained. "Did you run?" "Yeah. Found Hall's financial records. She's dirty." "She's more than dirty. She's the architect of the whole thing. Not the architect. The guy you met tonight is clean, far as I can tell. But Hall's been running the kill operation since day one. She created Unit 731 as a recruiting pool, found the best operators, trained us, then sold us out one by one." Emma's hand clenched the steering wheel. "Why?" "Money, power, control. Pick your poison." Marcus paused. "She's been working with foreign intelligence services for a decade, selling American operators as mercenaries or eliminating them before they could expose her. Weber, Davis, Rodriguez, they were all her network. Small pieces of a bigger machine. The architect showed me photos, 73 dead. He thinks 2 others are alive, you and Alexei." "Alexei is dead, Emma. 3 years ago. I watched him die. Hall had him killed because he found evidence of her operation." Marcus's voice cracked. "I went underground after that. Been hiding ever since. Been trying to find proof that would stick. Been trying to stay alive long enough to stop her." "Why didn't you contact me sooner?" "Because until yesterday I thought you were dead too. Hall told everyone you died in Jakarta, showed us casualty reports, held a memorial service." He laughed bitterly. "Guess she was saving you for something special." Emma's throat tightened. "She sent me to Prague, said I'd find Alexei there. Prague's a kill box. She's got assets positioned there. You land at that airport, you don't walk out alive." Marcus took a breath. "But she made a mistake. She thought I was dead. Thought I couldn't warn you. Thought she'd cleaned up all the loose ends." "Where are you?" "Can't tell you. Not on this line. But I can tell you where to meet." He paused. "Remember the place we went after Syria? The place you told me about your sister?" Emma's mind raced. After Syria, they'd gone to a dive bar in North Carolina. Nothing special. Just beer and conversation and two soldiers trying to remember what it felt like to be human. I remember. Tomorrow night, 2200 hours. Come alone. Come armed. And Emma, yeah. Don't trust anyone. Not Matthews, not the architect, not even yourself. Hall's been playing this game for 10 years. She's got contingencies for contingencies. You trust the wrong person, you're dead. The line went dead. Emma sat in the stolen Honda under the overpass and tried to think. Hall was the traitor. Hall had created Unit 731 to build a stable of operators she could sell or eliminate. Hall had spent 3 years hunting Emma and finally found her at Fort Benning, which meant everything tonight had been theater. The interrogation, the architect, the photos of dead teammates, all designed to push Emma toward Prague where Hall's people would be waiting. But Marcus was alive. Marcus had called. Marcus knew. Unless Marcus was the traitor and Hall was clean. Unless everyone was lying and Emma was the only fool still looking for truth. Her hand trembled so badly she had to sit on it. The weight of 73 names felt like it was crushing her chest. She couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't. Her other phone rang, the one Hall had given her, the one Emma had thrown out the window. Impossible. Emma got out of the car and walked back 50 yards, found the phone in a gutter, still ringing. She picked it up. Matthews, not Hall. Matthews. She answered. How did you know I'd come back for this? Because you're too smart to cut off all communication. Because you're questioning everything right now. Because you need answers and I'm the only one who can give them. Matthew's voice was calm, measured. Emma listened to me very carefully. Do not go to that meeting with Marcus. Why? Because Marcus Webb died 4 years ago. I saw his body. I identified him personally. Whoever called you is using his voice, his memories, his legend to manipulate you. Emma's blood went cold. Someone told me about my sister. Nobody knows that story except Marcus. Hall knows. She has access to psychological profiles from Unit 731. She knows every secret, every trauma, every pressure point. Matthews paused. She's using them against you, making you doubt everyone, so you'll isolate yourself, making you vulnerable. Hall's financial records show payments from Moldova, same network as Weber and Davis. Those records are fake, planted, designed to look like evidence when you went digging. Matthew's voice got harder. Hall didn't compromise the operation. Someone's trying to make you think she did. Someone who wants you to run, to separate yourself from the people who can protect you. Emma's mind spun. Who? The architect. Silence stretched between them. The architect created Unit 731, Matthews continued. But he didn't create it for Hall, he created it for himself. As his personal army, his private kill squad. And when Hall tried to shut it down 3 years ago because she discovered what he was doing, he started eliminating everyone who knew. 73 operators, all killed to cover his tracks. That's impossible. I met him tonight. He showed you exactly what he wanted you to see. Photos of dead teammates, evidence of a conspiracy, a path to Prague where his people are waiting. Matthew's voice was urgent now. Emma Hall brought you to him tonight so he'd reveal himself, so he'd make a move, so we could catch him, but you ran before we could close the trap. Emma's hand was shaking so badly the phone almost fell. I don't know who to believe. Then believe the evidence. Real evidence. Not planted financial records. Not voice recordings that could be faked. Not memories that could be extracted from classified files. Matthews paused. Believe your instincts. When you met the architect tonight, what did your gut tell you? Emma thought back. The architect's house. The photos on the wall. The exhaustion in his eyes. The same exhaustion she felt. The same guilt. The same weight of carrying dead names. He felt real, she whispered. Because he is real. A real traitor. A real killer. A real threat. Matthew's voice softened. Emma, I know you're scared. I know you don't know who to trust. But you need to come in. We'll debrief you. Show you the real evidence. Protect you while we roll up the architect's network. And if you're the traitor, Then I'm doing a terrible job of it by warning you off a meeting that would get you killed. Matthews sighed. I can't prove I'm clean. You just have to decide whether I've ever given you a reason to doubt me. Emma thought about 12 years of working with Matthews. 12 years of mission briefs and extractions and debriefs. He'd never lied to her, never failed her, never left her behind. But Hall had created Unit 731, had recruited her, had made her Spectre 9, and the architect had looked at her with the same haunted eyes she saw in the mirror every morning. I need time to think, Emma said. You don't have time. The architect knows you're compromised. He'll move his timeline up. Whatever he's planning, it's happening now. Matthews paused. There's something else. Sarah Chen was just released from protective custody. She's back at Fort Benning. Emma's heart stopped. What, why? Because the threat was neutralized. Weber's in custody. Rodriguez is talking. The network is dismantled. Matthews' voice went quiet. Or at least that's what we thought. But if the architect is still active, Sarah's exposed, unprotected, an easy target for someone who wants to hurt you. Get her back into custody. I'm trying, but there are protocols, red tape, and by the time I cut through it, the architect could have already made his move. Emma was already running back to the Honda. Where is she? Barracks, 3rd Platoon. Emma, wait for backup. Don't go in alone. Emma hung up. The drive to Fort Benning took 4 hours. Emma pushed the Honda to 80, 90, 100 miles per hour. Her hand was shaking on the wheel, but her mind was clear, focused, locked on one thing: Sarah Chen, 17 years old, caught in a war she didn't understand because she'd been kind to the wrong person. Emma hit the base gates at 0342 hours. The guards saw her Pentagon credentials and waved her through without questions. The barracks were dark, quiet. Emma pulled her Glock and went in low and fast. Sarah's bunk was empty. Emma's blood turned to ice. She checked the bathroom, the common area, the duty officer's desk. Nothing. Her phone rang. The burner. Marcus again. Emma, where are you? Fort Benning. Sarah Chen is missing. I know. I'm watching her right now. Marcus's voice was calm. She's safe. She's with me. The architect had a team moving on her position. I intercepted them. Killed 2. The rest ran. Emma's legs felt weak. Where? Old maintenance building. East side. The one that's supposed to be condemned. Get here fast. The architect knows I have her. He'll be sending reinforcements. Emma ran. The maintenance building was a 10-minute sprint across base. Emma made it in 6. The door was ajar. She slipped inside, Glock up, scanning corners. Marcus? Her voice echoed in the empty space. Upstairs, 2nd floor, end of the hall. Emma climbed the stairs. Her hand was shaking, but her finger was steady on the trigger. She reached the 2nd floor and saw a door at the end of the hall, light spilling underneath. She approached, pushed it open. Sarah Chen sat in a chair in the middle of the room, hands tied, mouth gagged, eyes wide with terror. Standing behind her, a man Emma hadn't seen in 4 years. Marcus Webb, older, thinner, scars on his face that weren't there before, but unmistakably Marcus. Hey, Emma. His voice was exactly as she remembered. Been a long time. Emma's Glock came up, pointed at his chest. Let her go. Can't do that, not yet. Marcus pulled out his own weapon, pressed it against Sarah's head. Lower your gun. Marcus, what are you doing? What I should have done 3 years ago. Taking control. His eyes were cold, dead, nothing like the friend she remembered. You want to know the truth? Here it is. The architect didn't turn. Hall didn't turn. I did. Emma's world tilted. That's not possible. It's not only possible. It's been the plan from the beginning. Marcus smiled. I was recruited before Unit 731 even existed, planted inside the program as a sleeper, spent years earning trust, building relationships, learning everyone's secrets, and when the time was right, I helped eliminate them one by one. You killed our team. Our team. They were marks, Emma. assets to be liquidated when they became inconvenient. Marcus's voice was flat. You were always too sentimental, too attached. That's why Hall wanted you dead. You were unreliable. Too many emotions. Too much guilt. Hall's in on this. Hall's been hunting me for 3 years since I went off mission. Since I decided the money was better working freelance than taking orders. Marcus pressed the gun harder against Sarah's head. But here's the beautiful part. When I heard you were alive, I saw an opportunity. Use you as bait. Draw out Hall. Draw out Matthews. Draw out everyone still hunting me. Kill them all in one night. Emma's hand steadied. Sarah has nothing to do with this. Sarah has everything to do with this. She's leverage. She's the reason you'll lower that gun and let me walk out of here. Marcus's smile widened. Because you're still the same Emma who joined Unit 731 to save someone else's sister. You won't let this girl die, not even to catch me. Emma's mind raced. Marcus was right. She couldn't shoot him without him killing Sarah. Couldn't rush him. Couldn't. Her phone buzzed. The one in her pocket. The one Hall had given her. Marcus heard it too. His expression shifted. Answer it. Speaker. Emma pulled out the phone. Hit speaker. Yeah. Matthew's voice came through. Emma, we traced the call. Marcus's location is the maintenance building. We have the building surrounded. He's trapped. Marcus's smile vanished. You're bluffing. I'm not. You made a mistake calling Emma. We tracked the signal. Hall's on site. Pentagon security is on site. You've got nowhere to go. Matthews paused. Let the girl go. This ends now. Marcus's hand tightened on the gun. If I'm going down, I'm taking both of them with me. The window behind him exploded. A sniper round caught Marcus in the shoulder. He spun, gun flying from his hand. Sarah's chair tipping sideways. Emma moved. She crossed the room in 3 steps, kicked Marcus's gun away, put her Glock to his head while he writhed on the ground, clutching his bleeding shoulder. Don't move. Marcus laughed through the pain. You won't kill me. You're not a killer anymore. You're just a scared girl with a trembling hand trying to pretend she's still a soldier. Emma's hand was shaking, badly. The Glock wavered. See? Marcus gasped. You're weak. You've always been weak. That's why you survived. That's why they let you live. Because you were never a real threat. Emma looked at Sarah, at the terrified 17-year-old who'd done nothing wrong except show kindness to a stranger. She looked at her trembling hand, at the 7 coils wrapped around her wrist, at the 73 names she carried. You're right, Emma whispered. I'm not a killer anymore. She lowered the Glock, turned to Sarah, untied her hands, pulled the gag from her mouth. It's okay. You're safe now. Sarah fell into her arms, sobbing. Behind her, boots pounded up the stairs. MPs flooded the room. Medics rushed to Marcus. Someone pulled Emma away from Sarah. Hall appeared in the doorway. Secure Webb. Get medical on him. I want him alive for questioning. Emma stood there, hand shaking, watching them zip-tie Marcus and drag him out, screaming threats and promises. Matthews walked over. You okay? Yeah. Emma's voice was hollow. Is it over? The immediate threat is. But Webb's network is bigger than we thought. We'll be unraveling it for months. Matthews paused. You did good tonight. Saved the girl. Caught the traitor. I didn't catch him. Your sniper did. You kept him talking. Kept him distracted. Kept Sarah alive. Matthews put a hand on her shoulder. That's what matters. Emma looked at her trembling hand. At the Glock she'd lowered instead of firing. I couldn't do it, she whispered. I had the shot. I could have ended him, but I couldn't pull the trigger. Because you're not him. You're not what he accused you of being. Matthew's voice was gentle. You're someone who chose to save a life instead of take one. That's not weakness. That's strength. Emma wasn't sure she believed that, but she nodded anyway. Sarah was being led away by medics. She looked back at Emma, mouthed 2 words, thank you. Emma nodded, watched her disappear down the stairs. Hall approached. "We need to debrief you. Formal statement. Everything Webb said. Later. I need air." Emma. Later. Emma walked out of the building. The sun was coming up. First light breaking over Fort Benning. She found a bench near the parade ground and sat down. Her phone buzzed. "The architect." She answered. "It's over. I heard. Marcus Webb was the traitor. Been hunting him for 3 years." The architect's voice was tired. "I'm sorry I didn't figure it out sooner. Could have saved you a lot of pain. Could have saved 73 people." "Yeah." Silence stretched between them. "What are you going to do now?" Emma looked at her trembling hand, at the tattoo that had marked her as Spectre 9, at the names she'd carry forever. "I don't know. You could disappear again. New identity, new life, pretend none of this happened. That didn't work last time. Or you could stay, help us clean up Webb's network, honor your teammates by finishing what they started." Emma closed her eyes, felt the weight of 73 names, felt the exhaustion of 3 years running, felt the trembling that never stopped. "I'm tired," she whispered. "I'm so tired of being a weapon." "Then don't be a weapon. Be something else. Be someone else." The architect paused. "Your teammates didn't die so you could carry guilt forever. They died so people like Sarah Chen could live. Mission accomplished." Emma opened her eyes. "Is it though Webb's in custody but his network is still active? The people he worked with are still out there. Nothing's really changed. Everything's changed. You're alive, Sarah's alive, and the people hunting you are either dead or in custody." The architect's voice softened. "That's as close to a win as people like us get." Emma hung up. She sat on that bench until the sun was fully up, watched recruits forming up for morning PT, watched drill sergeants shouting, watched young people who had no idea what they were walking into. Sarah Chen appeared across the parade ground, walking with another recruit, laughing about something, looking okay, looking alive. Emma stood, started to walk toward her. Stopped. Sarah deserved a normal life. A life without ghosts, without trembling hands, without the weight of names she couldn't carry. Emma turned and walked away. She found her way back to the stolen Honda, drove off base, drove until Fort Benning was just a memory in the rearview mirror. Her phone rang. Matthews. "Where are you?" "Gone." "Emma, we need you to... You need me to sit in a room and answer questions about things I'm trying to forget. You need me to help dismantle a network that will just rebuild itself with different faces. You need me to be Spectre 9 one more time." Emma's voice cracked. "I can't. I'm done." "Done with what?" "With being a weapon, with carrying names, with pretending my hands are clean." Emma looked at her trembling hand on the wheel. "I need to figure out who Emma Ward is when she's not hunting or hiding or killing." Matthews was quiet for a long moment. "What will you do?" "I don't know. Maybe go back to school. Maybe work at a coffee shop. Maybe just exist for a while without checking corners and sleeping with a gun under my pillow." Emma felt tears on her face. "Maybe try being ordinary." "You've never been ordinary." "Then maybe it's time to learn." She hung up. Emma drove until she hit the ocean, found a small town on the coast with a population of 3,000, rented a room above a bookstore, got a job waiting tables at a diner that served breakfast all day. The first week her hand shook so badly she dropped 3 plates. The second week she only dropped 1. The third week her manager stopped asking if she was okay. The fourth week a regular customer asked her name. "Emma," she said. Just Emma. Not Spectre 9. Not Private Mitchell. Just Emma. "Nice to meet you, Emma." The customer smiled. "You're new in town?" "Yeah. Looking for a fresh start." "Well, you picked a good place for it. Nothing much happens here. Just quiet. Peace." Quiet. Peace. Emma wasn't sure she remembered what those words meant, but maybe she could learn. She worked at the diner 6 days a week. Spent her evenings reading books she'd never had time for. spent her nights sleeping without nightmares for the first time in 3 years. Her hand still trembled. Probably always would. But it was just a tremor now. Not a reminder. Not a punishment. Just a part of her that had learned to survive when survival meant breaking. 6 months later, her phone rang. Matthews. She almost didn't answer. Yeah. Emma. Just checking in, making sure you're okay. I'm okay. You sound different. I am different. Emma looked out the window of her small apartment, saw the ocean, saw the sunset, saw ordinary life happening all around her. I'm learning how to be a person instead of a weapon. That's good. That's really good. Matthews paused. Webb's trial starts next month. His network is dismantled. Hall's been cleared of all suspicion. Rodriguez and Morrison are serving time. The architect is retired for real now. Fort Benning is clean. Good. We could use you. Training new operators, teaching them how to survive what you survived, how to carry the weight without breaking. I broke Matthews. That's why I left. You didn't break. You bent. There's a difference. He was quiet for a moment. But I understand. You've earned the right to walk away, to choose ordinary, to live without looking over your shoulder. Thank you. One more thing. Sarah Chen asked about you. Wanted to know if you were okay. Wanted to say thank you. Emma's throat tightened. Tell her I'm fine. Tell her to live a good life. Tell her she doesn't owe me anything. I will. Matthews cleared his throat. Take care of yourself, Emma. You deserve peace. He hung up. Emma set the phone down and looked at her wrist, at the 7 coils, at the numbers that still carried 73 names. She'd never forget them, would never stop carrying their weight. But maybe she could carry it differently, not as guilt, not as punishment, but as a reminder that their sacrifice meant something, that Sarah Chen got to live, that Emma Ward got to choose ordinary, that sometimes the strongest thing a weapon could do was choose to rust in peace instead of staying sharp for battles that would never end. The trembling in her hand slowed, just slightly, just enough. Emma Ward walked downstairs to her shift at the diner, smiled at customers who didn't know her. Pass served coffee to people who'd never heard of Unit 731, and for the first time in 3 years, she felt something close to hope that ordinary life was enough, that carrying names and serving breakfast and trembling hands could all exist in the same person, and maybe, just maybe, that person could still choose peace over war life, over death, and tomorrow over yesterday.